Round 5 of the AFL is Gather Round. So, while everyone's playing in Adelaide, let's get picking who's going to win this round. Let's bash through how we did last week then. On Thursday, we started very, very well with Pies versus Carlton, and it was quite a low-scoring game, a truly awful performance by Carlton, and Collingwood did enough. I did Collingwood to win by 6. They won by 17, so 1.5 points for me there. Friday, it was Cats versus D's, and I got the result, but not quite a close score. Cats won by 39. Just D's. What is going on with you guys? A fairly solid performance by Cats. Nothing to shout about, but they got the job done in the litter tray. Next up was Gold Coast versus Crows. Now, there is the controversy because Suns won by 1 point. 2 minutes to go. There was a mark by Crows, and he got wiped out. Should have been a mark. It wasn't paid. And a minimum, they probably would have got at least a behind for that to make it a draw. Probably wouldn't have helped me there, but there was a chance to actually get the win. That is some controversy. So in the comments, feel free to give your opinions. Yeah, it probably should have been marked. I get nothing because obviously I did Crows by 22. Gutted. And I would have if they got that mark and scored. Okay, next, Richmond versus Brisbane. Fairly convincing win by Brisbane. I know it's, Richmond got 90 here, but actually it was just late in the game where they pulled a little bit back. I get a close score. I did them to win, Lions to win by 28. They won. No, I did them to win by 18. They won by 28. So, fairly solid performance again. Yeah, they did the job easily enough. And the scoreline probably could have been further than what it was if they didn't let up right at the end. Next, North versus Sydney. The Swans, we did so well. Like, we strolled to success, but we had to still perform. We're undermanned at the moment, especially without players like Papley, and we didn't need him because North was so bad. I thought it might have actually been, we did a watch-along, I thought it might have been a bit closer, but no. North were shocking, and so we run out victors. We won by 65. I only get a point because I thought it would be a little bit closer considering how North have been scoring, but no, not against us. Next, Giants versus Eagles, and once again Eagles were awful again. Giants, they didn't, the thing is, Giants didn't even need to play that well just to get the job done convincingly. I get a point for the win. I did them by 34. They won by 81. So some people did get a close score, though. So, yeah, no one is picking West Coast to win at the moment, and I understand why. Then Port versus Saints, and unfortunately, normally Port do well at home. Not so well this week, just gone, because Saints won by 17. Port, I did by 20. And Saints are doing pretty well at the moment, but I do, last few seasons, Saints have started off well, but they cannot maintain it, and I still think that it will be the case. That will be the case. I do not think Saints will make top 8. Just, you can hold me to that. I get nothing. But the last game was Freo versus Bulldogs, and I did Freo by 8. They won by 16. Yeah, a decent enough performance, pushing away at the end. Western Bulldogs just could not play for the full length of the game. And Freo, they get a win. That is their second win of the season, and they're up to 11th. So our league table, we have 153 people playing at the moment. Let's check out the top 10. So Aussie Dylan is now in top spot, got up 4. Vam H is up 4 as well in second. Warwick, oh no, the leader has dropped down 2 places. DJD still in 4th. Up 20 is Bologna. Well done, mate. Down, hang on, we got some big movers in a second. Emoz is down 4 to 6th. Up 56 places in 7th is St. Jai. Up 57 places in 8th is Urmi USA. Maybe that's meant to be Army USA. 9th, up 5 is Hazza. Down 7 is Giants 4. Let's check out. Whoa, up 91. Ballistic. 91. That is insane. And the Golden Hat. Well done. Let's see some other big movers. See, I thought I had a good week. Or a decent-ish week. But I don't know how much I would have moved. Let's just scroll. Anti-Vax Hero up 19. Adelaide Bulldog down 21. Abel Van Tankerus up 18. Up 55. CJ Dockers. Wow. Up 48. Swanee Steve. Wow. We're getting still some really big movement. You think as the season goes on, you won't get as much big movement because the scores start spreading out a little bit. But Jaden Saints down 34. Pie Boy up 48. Where am I? Where am I? Bisque down 38. Owie down 38. Down 46 is Cats. Up 28 is Aussie TV. Where am I? How am I still in? Oh my God, where am I? Oh, I'm up 2 places, but I'm still 121st. That is really depressing. Who gets the wooden spoon? Tiger Eyes 2 gets the wooden spoon. So here is everyone. I want to see. So I'm on how many points? I'm on 24.5 points. The leader at the moment is on 38. Wow. Wow. I've got to seriously pick up some Grand Slams and some big points to try and push up. Let's hope this will be the week. So, as I said, it is gather round, so all of the games are in South Australia, most of them at the Oval. So, starting tomorrow, sorry, I am a day late because I've been in Montenegro and I literally got back Wednesday my time. So, here it is. Tomorrow, which is the 10th, I'm losing track, 10th at the Oval is Crows versus Geelong. Crows back at home. You know, at the end of the day, Crows have started pretty strong. They're obviously looking to bounce back from that very, very narrow loss. Looking at certain players are out. Isaac Rankin, calf. Josh Rochelle, he's out with his ribs as well. Geelong, I say they got their win last week, but it was against Melbourne. They do have Blitzavs. Okay, he's returning. But I just think this season, Crows, they're sitting in third, playing at home. They've got that advantage here. And if it was the other way round, if it was, for example, Cats playing at the Literature, then I would have thought, yeah, that way. But I think I'm going to go with an Adelaide win here. I think things are stacking up better for Crows. Their form is slightly better. And I think the test that Cats had with Melbourne isn't anything really that special. So let's go with Crows here. I think a close one, though. I'm going to do Crows by 10. So not a huge difference there. Okay, Friday the 11th, also at the Oval, is Collingwood versus Swans. That's a 10:40 game. Oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to watch it live. Do a live watch along, unfortunately. It is Pies versus the mighty Swans. The form is pretty similar. Swans, with players out, we are holding our own. Looking at Pies, you've got DeGoey out, Schultz and Houston out. Sydney obviously lacking Tom Papley and Callum Mills. Tom Papley, that is a major miss still. I think both teams are pretty undermanned here. It's a difficult one. I've got to go with Swans because they're my team. And I've got to be hopeful here. But it could easily go for a Pies win. They've got quite a lot of depth in their squad, but I'm just hoping that Swans, they're my team. I have to go with them. So I'm going Swans by 8. Tight one. Okay, next up at Barossa Park, it is North versus Suns. There is one winner here, surely. Suns obviously very happy after last week's result. And I just think North are just struggling to finish off games, struggling with consistency, obviously. They may regain a few youngsters, but that's not enough. I think Suns, they're obviously really hitting their stride under Damien Hardwick at the moment with back-to-back wins. Back-to-back wins, which is pretty decent for them. Only key absentee is Charlie Ballard. He's out long term, so yeah, hopefully they'll get over that. I think Suns confident, good form, structure to control the game is better than North, so I think this is a fairly simple one. But I'm assuming North will score more than they did last week. I'm going to go Gold Coast win, though. A Gold Coast win by 25. Yeah, let's do that. Next, Oval. Carlton versus West Coast. It's like which team can be worse this season. The funny thing is, West Coast have actually probably been scoring more points each game. It's a difficult one. Carlton, look, they are winless, but they sometimes have been a little bit more competitive. Sometimes a little bit more competitive than West Coast have been. They're likely to regain Harry Mackay, which is good. And obviously, look, West Coast are just in a crisis, aren't they? There's no real sign of them developing. That's what's frustrating, I think, as an outsider or even an insider. There's no sign of development in their team. They just seem to be so stagnant. You can't even say, oh, we're rebuilding, because are they? Yeah, look, there's players out, but I think it should be a fairly dominant win. This is the chance. If Carlton don't win on this day, on Saturday, then there is issues. So Carlton here, I don't think they'll win by loads, but let's do... No, let's do 35, shall we? Let's do 35. This has got to boost a bit of confidence for them. Okay, Norwood Oval. Western Bulldogs versus Lions. Lions undefeated. They are just doing really well. Still without Bontempelli, Wakeman, Treloar. They're all major out, so they're going to have to get used to that at the moment. They've just got such a star-studded team, haven't they, Brisbane? And I think they've got that depth to, Bulldogs, it's not good for Bulldogs losing those three players that I mentioned, and then Brisbane basically having a pretty strong team with very few injuries. Norwood Oval potentially suits Brisbane's structure as a team, so I think it should be pretty simple for Lions to beat a fairly depleted Bulldogs team at the Norwood Oval. So let's do Brisbane. Brisbane by 40. Fairly confident win for them there. Next Oval, D's versus Essendon. Essendon have got one win, and D's just can't buy a win at the moment. They really can't. Their defensive issues just keep mounting and mounting and mounting. Essendon coming off a bye. They've obviously got that win in round 3, which I didn't think they were going to get, but they did. They're likely to regain Parrish and Peter Wright. So Bombers may have that little bit of extra momentum, a little bit more midfield depth, and could expose Melbourne's slump even more. How can anyone tip Melbourne at the moment? How can anyone tip the D's? I don't think it'll be a rampant win by Essendon, so I'm only going to do them by 10. I just can't see them. D's just surely not. They need to find something, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it at the moment. Next up, though, Sunday the 13th, Barossa Park is Richmond versus Freo. Freo obviously found the last couple of games very, very well, playing pretty good football. And Tigers, obviously, started their first game really well, but that was against a weak side and have lost 3 since. Prestia out. Defensive fragilities. I think, what can you say? I think Nat Fyfe is potentially coming back. And I think Dockers have a lot better discipline than Richmond and should outclass Richmond. There's not really a lot to say here, is there? Just Richmond are not doing well, and it's amazing they got that first win. Dockers by, let's do 40. Okay, 2 more to go. Norwood, Saints versus Giants. I think Saints are overachieving. And that may sound mean, but I think they're overachieving at the moment. And they seem to have done that in the last few years, and they just plummet. Very similar to how Essendon have been over the last few years, not necessarily this year. GWS, they're attacking really, really well at the moment, and they potentially regain Coniglio and Daniels, which is only going to strengthen even more. I think Saints will fight hard defensively, but they're limited by their forward options, in my opinion. And so, therefore, firepower and midfield edge should be on the Giants' side here. I don't think it's going to be a huge win, though, actually. I think defensively Saints will hold them off as long as possible, but it won't be enough. So I'm going to do Giants here. Giants by 15. I think that's fair. Last game, though, Port versus Hawthorn. An interesting one because obviously it's at Adelaide Oval. Port at home, but that didn't work out for them last week, did it? Hawks undefeated. They are top of the league, doing really, really well. They do lose Will Day. Port, they're under pressure, aren't they? They are under pressure. When you've got Crows doing better than them. Oh, Babs, she's going to be happy if she's watching this with Crows sitting third and Port down in 12th. She's going to be happy in Adelaide. Port have got Marshall out by Burn Jones as well. I think, yes, there's the home advantage, but I just think with Hawks' belief at the moment, their speed, their structure, they are going to maintain a winning streak. So I don't think it's going to be a huge win, but Hawks by 12. So the summary, Adelaide Crows by 10, Sydney by 8, Gold Coast by 25, Carlton by 35, Brisbane by 40, Essendon by 10, Dockers by 40, Giants by 15, and Hawthorn by 12. Some interesting matchups again. Hopefully, I just need a good run of form just to pick up those points. Lots of close scores I need. Thank you so much once again. Hopefully everyone will enjoy Adelaide if you are going there. Adelaide, I love the city. It is an awesome place to be. And thank you so much for joining me on this competition as well. You guys are awesome. Make sure you like and subscribe. And as always, I'll catch you next time.